Hello and welcome to my rebuilt DAC. It doesn't look quite as graceful as the original, but we've got it working. So inside here we have a fan and a little vent where the air goes through. Right here is our little red cup where we put our water. We'll go ahead and pour water into there. And I'm filling it pretty much to the brim. I've got my aquarium pump, no air stone, as you can see, and you just place that right in there. On the side here we have a little humidifier, and or not a humidifier, a hygrometer, and it records both humidity and temperature inside of here, and it's Bluetooth, so it'll send those values right to your phone, which I find incredibly useful. So in order to prepare the filter, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on a mask, not because it's necessarily needed, but because the CKD is kind of alkaline, and I like to cover my bases. Plus, it really likes to go everywhere because it's very trying. So you open up your CKD. You're going to want to measure and weigh out 2 coffee filters. So I'll go ahead and do that with my little scale. All right, write down your results. Then you're going to weigh out around 10 to 11 grams of CKD onto one of those coffee filters. Do that now. Now you can do this with a spoon if you're smart, but if you're like me and you know that you're going to spill it anyway, just go ahead and use your hands. So you spread that into a very fine layer, as fine as you can get, but you're going to leave a couple inches, or like 1 inch around the outside, because that's where you're going to put your glue. So let's see if you can see that. Well, it was a very fine layer at one point. So the next step that we're going to do is we're going to spray it with water, and we're just going to try to saturate it as much as possible while getting kind of an even layer of water on this thing. Now in my report I discuss how this dust is not as cementitious as I thought it possibly would be, but I do think that we could achieve that level of cementitiousness if we added in more water. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and added a pretty significant amount of water to this. It's very moist. Grab your glue, and you're just going to smear a nice little layer of glue all around the outside of your filter. Okay? Add your second filter. Put it in place. And you might feel that the CKD is kind of warm. And then you might realize that that was just because you kept the CKD in your car. And there's no chemical reactions happening at this moment. But what's going to happen is that you let this dry for a second, okay? And this creates kind of like a pancake effect, right? And when this is fully dry, I'm going to be able to invert it without any CKD falling out of the sides. Now, because we don't have just 15 minutes to wait around in this video, I'm going to go ahead and start inverting it, and we're going to see it fall to the side. But ideally, that's not what happens. Whoop. Yep, there it goes. Okay. So the next step is that we're going to go ahead and put it in our DAC. So we've got these little binder clips so that we can hang it nice and vertically. Now, one of the advantages of using CKD, again, is that it's cementitious. So we can hang it vertically when it's not falling out the bottom while we're trying to do a trial video. All right, so you get it nice, snug in there. There you go, pretty much hung in there. You ignore the CKD that's falling out. And the next step you do is you go ahead and turn on your aquarium pump. And then it kind of sounds like a cauldron, which is really exciting. Close it up. We're going to let that run for about 2 hours, or really however long you want your run to go. I find it that this is, the experiment part. This is where you kind of see how long should I run it. Should I run it longer? Should I run it shorter? And then you want to test your CKD to see how much calcium carbonate you get absorbed depending on those different times. Once you're finished running your aquarium pump to whatever desired time you want, you're going to unplug it and then plug in your fan. this actually dries pretty quickly, but you're essentially gonna let it dry, or let it go until your filter is pretty much dry. And for that part, you can go ahead and take out your aquarium tubing. And I have a little string around here that I use to kind of keep it in place so that it doesn't just fly out like crazy. But it's not a problem if it does. And that's that. There it is.